It's a coming together of all the neighbors and friends and stuff like that, relatives, people that weren't scheduled to work are out here doing their own part and so forth in the thing, and it's just fun. It's been great working with everyone. Work in teams, so you have somebody who's really skilled, and they take unskilled people and plug them in there. So there's been really no problems that I'm aware of.
Are you guys impressed with how fast this has come along?
Yeah.
Yes.
Tremendous.
Tremendous. I can't believe this work has been done this quickly, you know.
And it's just gone up real fast. I mean, every day I come back and there's more done. And it's really surprising how good it's working.
Has it been fun?
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I've met a lot of people in the neighborhood, even my own neighbors I didn't know before. And so it's been a really good experience.
Okay, thanks a lot. Good.
Nothing to do with studies of other uses and other alternatives. As far as I'm concerned, there is no other alternative use that would be acceptable to me and I'm sure to the community. Because like I say, it's 100% unanimous in the community on what it is we want, and we want in our community. Our community needs the park space. It's been documented time and time again. We have 300 children in that community that needs a place to play. I mean, what are you going to weigh against that?
Indian Boundaries and many other parks like it nationwide, built by the communities they serve. Meanwhile, in Evanston, the need for a park and a vacant lot in the child-dense Dewey community. Inspiration and motivation for a very unique community project, the likes of which this city has never seen before. Behind this project were the men and women of EFOP, or Evanston Friends of the Park.
One of the first things we had to do was to convince Dewey Community Conference to support the idea that the entire site be a park, because you could not do a Leathers playground on a portion of it. It would have been it's 1 acre site. So that's what we did, and we lobbied, and
we lobbied all the aldermen, and we presented before the city council.
The idea which EFOP presented to the city council was a popular one, but it also drew its share of skepticism. Did ordinary citizens have what it takes to build an entire playground from scratch? And could they raise the money? Individual council members were seriously divided on the issue.
We better have something in writing, or you're going to be coming back here calling us names because we aren't doing what you think we're supposed to do. Are you a 501c3 yet? How are you going to collect the money? Is it going to be in an escrow? Are you going to have finalized plans before we disperse our money? Who's dispersing what? And insurance is an aspect that we have to address.
in particular, one of the aldermen, Warshaw, really supported a neighborhood group that had totally bombed out and gone bankrupt and lost a lot of funds. And she said, over my dead body. Do you remember? Yeah. It was like, outside of one of these city council meetings, I ran into her in the bathroom, and she said, over my dead body, will you guys get to do this?
For the most part, however, the aldermen seemed impressed by the initiative shown by EFOP members and were ready to stand behind their efforts.
Not very often do I see a large group of citizens getting together to tell us what they can do. Most of the time, the calls that reach me, I don't know about other aldermen, are suggesting things that I can do. Sometimes things that are practical, which are being expressed are not being expressed by the residents, by the aldermen of the second ward.
We have little kids that need a park. We have bigger kids that need a park. We have hundreds of people that are interested in developing these parks. We have hundreds of people that are interested in making a contribution to the park. And some of them have already been hitting me up for money for it.
But the question at hand wasn't whether the park was a good idea. Most agreed that it was. EFOP's job was to convince the city council that the entire site, and not just a portion thereof, should be zoned for a park. The group's members presented strong arguments.
All we are asking is some kind of a statement from the city that the entire site can be used as a park so that we can elaborate on our fundraising plan. And we'll be glad to work hand in hand, as we have in the past, not even having a plot of land, the full site that is, for the park. And we'll continue to do so.
After a long night in the chambers, the issue was finally brought to a vote.
All in favor of Alderman Korchak's motion to reserve the property as a park for 1 year, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No. Roll call. Brady? No. Reardon? Aye. Korchak?
Aye.
Morton? Aye. Summers?
Aye.
Wool? Aye. Levin?
Aye.
Collins? No. Brady? Aye. Belvin?
Aye.
Borshak? No. Rudy?
Aye.
Juilliard?
Aye.
Hayden? Aye. Gerber?
Aye.
Davis? Aye. 13 ayes, 3 noes, motion carries.
The first round had been won. EFOP had the raw materials it needed to make a dream into a reality. But these ambitious people knew that the real challenges lay ahead.
Now we've really got to do it. And I was like,
Committee or the commission? The committee?
committee.
Okay. The Alderman?
No, the commission. The commission.
Okay. Planning Commission.
And they said, oh, that's very nice. Why don't you guys do that? And we had actually thought maybe we'd give them this good idea and they would do it.
It's certainly extremely important in a community to provide for the needs of the children, that they have a safe environment, that they have an environment where they can grow and learn and play with each other and have appropriate supervision. I certainly applaud the neighbors for their interest and the amount of hard work that they're willing to put into this. I mean, I think that's really neat and really exciting. But on the other hand, it provides a lot of complexities that the people in the city aren't used to working with. But normally, we will have some open space that the decision is made to develop it as a park, and assuming that we own it. We get our park people to do the appropriate measurements and to figure out where the tree, just where the trees are now and what the various natural pieces of the park are. That's a lot easier to deal with than it is to deal with a lot of amateur volunteers.
Raising money would be the first big challenge facing Evanston Friends of the Park. An outdoor garage sale held on the grounds of the future park was their first major fundraising effort. It yielded $2,500.
It was such a wonderful garage sale. It brought the neighborhood to the site. We had it there. Nomination. Could see that it was going to be a park and what we're going to do, and then we had a party here. It was really fun. It was a nice beginning of drawing people together.
The garage sale was a success, but the goal set by the fundraising committee of EFOP was $90,000. Money-making efforts would quickly shift into high gear.
Can you get a sound recording off this? Can you get a sound recording? You want to give me a test? 1, 2, 3, test. Test 1, 2, 3. Are you okay? Okay. Okay. Yep. Yeah, I'd like to introduce Barbara Greer, who is the financial wizardry behind the park that's been going on. She's worked probably harder than anybody that I know of in making sure that every penny actually goes into the park, and that includes taking pennies out of children's pockets.
Thank you,
no, actually.
Out of here, so I can finish this.
You gotta say like what it really means to you.
We've already gone through that.
Okay.
Okay. The carnival, Karen wanted to figure out a way to do big money, and
Besides raising a lot of money, the carnival accomplished something else that was very important. It raised Evanston's awareness of a project that was still fairly unknown beyond the blocks surrounding the park site. EFOP knew the success depended upon their ability to spread the word, convincing some to donate money, others to volunteer time for the critical days of construction that still lay months in the future. To that end, they seized opportunities to make appearances and inform people about their unique endeavor. Getting kids involved in the creative process of park planning was a major objective. On design day, the people who would use the park the most had their chance to speak out.
The choice of 3 slides, and you have to find the one.
Architect was Rachel Hughes came out, and we had it all set up so kids were brought to her in groups, and it was wonderful. It was sort of had a performance-like air to it. She just would say, you know, you can have anything you want on your playground. What would you want? You know,
A bridge.
A bridge. Okay, we got a bridge. What else? Right here.
This big toy horsey that's on a spring, and there's something on the spring that when you put money in a slot, you get on the horse and then it bumps.
Oh, I see.
She had wonderful ideas, and she had the capacity to string together their ideas in some format. And so after she'd heard it, she'd say, okay, stop, and she would just sort of feel it back at them. This is what your playground is going to look like. And the kids would just sit there, and they were so excited.
Okay, we can do that. What else? Right. Bumper cars. Bumper cars would be fun. Was that?
They also drew pictures. All the kids drew pictures, especially at Dewey, and gave them. And she had to pick and choose between all the ideas. She tried to find the common elements. The fun house and the castle. All those were the kids' ideas. A lot of them had common threads, what they wanted.
In the final months before construction, the need to raise money and community interest grew more pressing. 2 more major fundraisers helped pave the way.
But the real success of it was Steve Goldberg bringing in that auctioneer. He was phenomenal.
He was from Oklahoma. He had been a commodities broker and a cowhand.
And he collected art.
And he collected art.
Number 7, $200. Thank you. All right, this let's see, 109. Freefold Virgin. It's a wood statue, I believe. Mixed medium on paper and wood. Your cat would love this. If you have a cat at home and you like it, you should buy it. If you love your cat, you must own it.
last major event preceding construction took place on the site. Evanston residents made their spare change add up to $3,000 at pennies from heaven.
We decided that it would be good to do it right before construction, since we'd bring people on site and we'd get people enthused about it and we'd get to the schools finally. What we did is we distributed, I think it was about 2,500 cans to the school children at Lincoln, at Nichols, at Dewey, at Washington schools, and at some of the preschools in the area as well.
Cans upon cans of pennies were collected. EFOP members weighed and counted them.
Okay.
£2.05.
Walk the kids to the side.
Look at Look at this.
And they all sort of felt like they helped pay for the park.
Many months of effort came to the crossroads on a cool, drizzly summer day. The goal was to complete park construction in 6 days, and that could not happen unless efforts to recruit volunteers from all parts of the community were successful. On that day, more than just the ground was broken.
This vacant lot was strategically located in a primarily low-income black area right at the edge of a much more affluent white area. It was like there was a dividing line in our neighborhood, and if you work with people, if you talk with people, you're not afraid of them. What have you got?
The bathroom's over there.
We're going to be building a maze so right now we're taking the blocks and using jigs and putting three small other pieces in.
I feel I'm contributing to my neighborhood. Good neighborhood. I lived here 21 years.
I grew up in Evanston, so this is my community.
I'm putting a sealer on this. This is going to be the floor of something. The deck. The deck.
I'm drilling holes in these planks. They're going to come and take screws and put them in to secure the board back down to the foundation.
We're building a picnic table, actually two of them. One is for wheelchair access and one's not. And this is the frame for the decking.
We're sewing screws so that the workers could put them in faster. Right now we're painting a picture for monsters for the spook house they're gonna make, and you can't make any blood or guts on it because they don't want to scare the younger kids. When it's built, and we're gonna say, we made this.
As the days progressed, both the pace and the number of working hours per day went up. The pressure was on to meet the deadline.
Going very well. We need more volunteers. If we had more volunteers, we'd be doing wonderfully.
What is it going to take to finish it with the people that you do have?
It's going to take probably 27-hour days with the people we do have.
Everybody stop for a moment and look at the rainbow in the east.
Finally, at the conclusion of 6 long days, the time for celebration arrived. Preparations for a fish dinner were underway as the ceremonies began.
The other parks may have been built with your tax dollars, but they weren't built with the sweat and the time and the effort that has been put in here. So congratulations to everybody here, people who live here, people who live near here, everybody who put all their time in. It's absolutely wonderful. And now the envelope. The name of the park, as voted upon by the neighborhood children, is Penny Park. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
Even teenagers were into it. I had 2 post-high school kids walk in, and they were really big, and they had these big muscles sticking out, and I needed all this lumber picked up at my carpenter's shop in Rogers Park, and I said, I don't know who you are, but will you go to Rogers Park with me? And I mean, we talked all the way down there, and they just bubbled, and it was only Tuesday afternoon, and they just said, this is so great for the neighborhood, and Evanston's never done anything like this before, and there's this, 6 glorious days of brotherhood, and people meeting in harmony, and it's a beautiful experience, and everyone goes away feeling enriched. But how long does that really last? And I think it's a fascinating idea. They've built 600 of these parks, and I think it would be real interesting to do a study and find out, what's left.
It's a one-time job, really.
Yeah.
You do it once, and you've done it, and you're proud of it, but you can't do it. You can't devote 2 years of your life again.
I think people really sort of yearn for a sense of belonging, a sense of doing something for their community, and we gave them a vehicle, and the construction gave them a vehicle. I think that you almost needed that degree of involvement, of putting aside the rest of your life to work with everybody, and that was a very exciting thing. It was really uplifting to sort of see it happen.